There's a quiet grace that surrounds older women, an elegance crafted not by years alone, but by all the moments those years held. It's easy for society to overlook them, to place them on the sidelines in favor of younger, louder voices. But in doing so, we miss a living archive of courage, tenderness, and raw humanity. Older women carry stories etched into the lines of their faces, wisdom that runs deeper than the ocean, and a presence that can calm or challenge, often at the same time. And yet, many people never see this. They see numbers instead of nuances, decades instead of depths. So today, let's look beyond what is obvious. Let's explore 11 psychological truths about older women that few realize, but once known, can open your eyes to a power that doesn't fade. It only matures. First, older women are often more emotionally intelligent than they're given credit for. Decades of observing, loving, losing, and healing sharpen a woman's awareness of people's motives, spoken or unspoken. She senses shifts in tone, sees small gestures others miss, and hears the story between your words. Emotional intelligence isn't taught in a classroom. It's forged in heartbreaks, betrayals, triumphs, and quiet moments of reflection. An older woman can read a room better than most, not because she wants to control it, but because she has learned to survive in it. Her intuition has been tested, refined, and retested over the years, becoming a powerful, silent compass that guides her daily interactions. And if you earn her trust, she'll use this gift not to manipulate, but to nurture, to steady you when you're lost in your own chaos. Second, older women often value depth over drama. They've seen enough passing storms to know which ones matter and which are just noise. Where younger hearts might chase the thrill of emotional turbulence, an older woman seeks something real, something lasting. She's less likely to play games, less likely to entertain shallow flattery, and far more drawn to authenticity. The games of love and power that once felt necessary now feel empty to her, replaced by an honest desire for mutual respect and understanding. This doesn't mean she lacks passion, quite the opposite. It means her passion is focused, intentional, and rooted in something deeper than the passing moods of the moment. Third, older women have learned to find strength in vulnerability. Society often tells women to be endlessly selfless, endlessly giving, but age teaches a wiser truth, that acknowledging your own needs isn't weakness, it's a sign of maturity. An older woman has likely walked through seasons where she gave too much, loved too blindly, or lost herself in someone else's shadow. But somewhere along the road, she learned the beauty of setting boundaries, of saying no without apology, and of asking for what she truly needs. That vulnerability born not from naivety, but from deep self-knowledge makes her both softer and stronger. She can open her heart without losing herself in the process, and that balance is something rare and beautiful. Fourth, older women are not as easily swayed by appearance alone. Attraction for them goes far beyond the surface. They look for presence, character, kindness, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing yourself. They can appreciate beauty, of course, but they know that beauty fades and what's left is who you really are. They're drawn to depth, to conversation that stirs the soul, to laughter that eases old wounds. And when they love the parts of you that others may overlook, your scars, your doubts, your truths spoken in the dark. Fifth, older women often carry invisible victories, silent battles they've won without ever telling a soul. You might see grace in her step or calm in her eyes, but what you don't see are the nights she cried alone, the mornings she rose despite exhaustion, the choices she made that cost her comfort but preserved her integrity. These silent victories shape her into someone whose resilience doesn't shout, but simply stands. She knows the price of survival, and so she doesn't boast about it. But if you take the time to listen, you might catch glimpses of her strength, not in the words she says, but in the life she's built and the peace she carries. Sixth, older women often possess a playful spirit that surprises those who expect only seriousness. They've learned that laughter heals, that life's absurdities are best met with humor, and that joy is too precious to waste. This playfulness isn't childishness, it's the wisdom of not taking everything so seriously, of knowing when to let go. Her smile might carry the weight of many years, but it also holds the sparkle of the girl she once was, a girl she never fully abandoned. And if you're lucky, she might let you see that side of her, reminding you that age doesn't steal the heart's capacity for delight. Seventh, older women often become more selective with whom they share their time and energy. Time feels different when you realize how quickly it moves. She knows she cannot waste herself on people who drain her, who see only what they want rather than who she truly is. Her circle may shrink, but it deepens. And those she keeps close are there because they respect her soul, not just her service. To be invited into her life is an honor, because she no longer feels obligated to entertain those who don't see her worth. Eighth, older women often carry an unspoken acceptance of imperfection in others and in themselves. They've made peace with past mistakes, forgiven old versions of themselves, and learned that perfection is an illusion that costs too much to chase. They see beauty in the flawed, the unfinished, the real. This acceptance makes them gentler companions and wiser guides. They won't demand you to be perfect. They'll ask you to be true, to be whole, to be human. And in that acceptance, they offer a love that heals. Ninth, older women often possess an unexpected courage to start over, to rebuild, to reinvent themselves. Whether through divorce, loss, or change, many have had to tear down parts of their lives and begin again. And with each new beginning, they discover parts of themselves they never knew existed. That courage doesn't shout from rooftops. It shows up in the quiet decision to keep going, to love again, to hope again despite the evidence of past pain. And that makes them not just survivors, but quiet architects of renewal. 10th, older women often value the small, often unnoticed things that give life texture. A shared silence, a look across the table, a memory retold on a rainy evening. They understand that life's richest moments rarely come with fanfare. They've learned to slow down, to savor, to see beauty where others rush by. When you're with her, you may notice the world feels gentler, less hurried, as though time stretches to accommodate deeper presence. And 11th, older women often carry a quiet but unwavering sense of purpose. This purpose may not be grand or public, but it guides them. It might be caring for a loved one, mentoring someone younger, creating something beautiful, or simply living each day with integrity. Purpose gives them strength when circumstances fail them, and hope when the future feels uncertain. And even if they don't speak of it, this purpose is what makes them shine from within. But these 11 facts are more than curiosities, they are invitations. They ask us to look deeper, to challenge what we think we know about aging, about femininity, about value. They remind us that older women are not relics of the past, but living testaments to love, resilience, and the complex dance of being human. In a world obsessed with youth, we often forget that wisdom isn't instant. It's brewed slowly, painfully, beautifully over time. Older women carry the flavor of those years, sometimes bitter, sometimes sweet, always richer than what is first apparent. And by seeing them fully, not just as mothers or grandmothers, colleagues or neighbors, but as women with desire, dreams, and depth, we honor a part of our shared humanity too often neglected. When you sit with an older woman, listen not just to her words, but to the spaces between them. You may find echoes of yourself in her reflections, warnings whispered in kindness, and hopes offered softly. You may also discover how deeply the soul can love after heartbreak, how courage can rise after despair, and how beauty can shine brightest when freed from the burden of pleasing everyone. She is not perfect, she never claimed to be, but perhaps perfection is the wrong pursuit anyway. What older women show us is that wholeness, embracing every scar, every laugh line, every lesson, is a far greater achievement. And it is this wholeness that radiates a different kind of allure, one that doesn't fade with time, but rather deepens. If you take nothing else from these 11 facts, remember this: age doesn't strip a woman of her power. If anything, it refines it, concentrates it, until what remains is something rare, precious, and quietly unshakable. And when you recognize this power, not in theory but in your heart, you see older women not as who they were, but as who they are now, vibrant, layered, and alive. So let us challenge the narrow stories we've been told about older women. Let us listen longer, look deeper, and speak of them not with pity, but with respect and wonder. For in doing so, we honor not just them, but also the truth that life's greatest beauty often reveals itself only with time. Older women teach us by their very presence that love is not limited to a single age, that courage does not expire, and that a soul refined by years can be the most breathtaking sight of all. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful psychological fact of all, that age is not the end of a woman's story. It is the part where her truth shines the brightest. In a world that races forward, she invites us to slow down, to breathe, to remember what truly matters. And if we listen, really listen, we may just discover that the treasure we were searching for was hidden in plain sight all along, in the heart of a woman who has lived, loved, and dared to keep becoming, no matter the number of her years. This speech will reveal hidden truths about the emotional depth, subtle strengths, and magnetic complexities of older women that most people overlook. It will take you beyond the shallow assumptions that age steals beauty or softens passion, and guide you instead into the quiet realms where real allure resides. You'll see how years do not dull a woman's light, but rather distill it into something rarer, something only visible to eyes willing to look beyond the obvious. You will discover the silent battles she has fought, the tenderness she still dares to offer despite old wounds, and the profound intelligence that glows beneath every choice, every boundary, every smile that knows both joy and sorrow. This is not a tribute bound by nostalgia. It is an unveiling of power that grows sharper, not softer, with time. Part of this speech is an invitation to let go of tired stereotypes and open your heart to the truth that age is not the end of feminine magnetism, but the evolution of it into something deeper, wiser, and infinitely more captivating. You may never see older women the same way again, and that is exactly the point, of course. Here's an expanded narration style version of that line, deepening the emotional pull and reflective tone as part of the speech. It is designed to challenge common stereotypes and inspire you to see older women not through the dull lens of age, but through the bright, living reality of their experiences and inner power. Too often we are taught to measure a woman's worth in years she has yet to live rather than the decades she has already lived through. Decades filled with silent courage, quiet reinvention, and the kind of grace that can only be shaped by surviving what others never even see. This speech is meant to awaken your perception, to replace casual dismissal with genuine curiosity, and to shift your gaze from the superficial to the profound. It will help you see how wrinkles are not signs of fading beauty, but of beauty that dared to stay, how a softer voice can still carry the weight of unbreakable truths, and how a life fully lived leaves behind an invisible glow that no passing year can dim. Part of the speech, then, is not merely to inform but to transform, to spark a recognition that the true essence of older women is not what has been lost, but what has been forged and found along the way. And once you see them in this new light, it becomes impossible to unsee the strength, depth, and quiet brilliance that age reveals rather than hides. Here's an expanded narration-style version of that line, adding depth and emotional nuance to fit naturally as part of the speech. You'll discover why understanding these psychological facts can transform not only your relationships, but also your respect for feminine resilience and timeless beauty. Because once you truly see the quiet power older women carry, their ability to love after loss, to trust again after betrayal, to remain tender in a world that often punishes softness. Your perspective begins to change. It becomes clear that what we call aging isn't a slow retreat from life, but a deeper step into authenticity. That every line on her face is a map of moments survived and lessons earned, each one telling a story of strength that asked for nothing in return. And when you learn to honor these truths, you unlock a richer connection not only with the older women around you, but with the enduring spirit of womanhood itself, a spirit that transcends youth. Time and appearance. Part of the speech, then, is to remind you that real beauty does not fade, it matures. Real strength does not always shout. Sometimes it simply endures. And once you see older women through this lens of understanding, you see them not as shadows of who they once were, but as living testaments to the grace, depth, and unwavering courage that only a life fully lived can bring.